Canada is getting absolutely hammered by America with tariffs and a trade deal that ceases to kind of exist or at least evolve. So Canada did this thing where they went behind mom and pa's back, which in this instance would be America, and they went to the uncle or the cousin and said, hey, can we please have some business, which in this instance is Mexico. And Mexico said, hey, piss off, cabron, what are you doing? So yeah, that's kind of the highlight of today. Also, America is making massive business moves with, Apple moving a lot of stuff into America, injecting billions, hundreds of billions of dollars into their economy. Trump is also scheduled to go meet with Putin and potentially even with Zelensky all under the same roof, which is, mind blowing to even think about that possibility, which if I was a betting man, I would say that that's probably going to happen, and I would probably bet on that, but that's just me, and I'm luckily not a betting man. So yeah, there's a lot of crazy stuff to take a look at today, but the main TLDR of this video, the summary is Canada is continuously getting fucked, of course, and the rest of the world is thriving to some capacity. Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to another video, everybody. Before we get into it, I do want to encourage y'all to hit the like button and subscribe if you haven't yet already. Please consider it because tariffs might affect the subscription. Maybe at some point. I don't know. I'm just saying things for the sake of saying things. My wife would absolutely agree with that. Let's get into this video. Shall we? Starting off with what's going on with Russia. Trump says he intends to meet Putin and Zelensky as early as next week, following the Witkoff trip to Moscow. New sanctions against Russia will kick in on Friday, the White House said, even as U.S. President Trump praised a meeting between U.S. Special Envoy Steve Witkoff and President Vladimir Putin as highly productive. He said he was open to meeting the Russian leader as early as next week. Trump wrote on social media that the great progress was made in the Wednesday meeting, adding that he has already updated some of America's European allies. Trump told European leaders in a phone call that he intended to meet soon with Putin, potentially as early as next week, followed by a trilateral meeting with Ukraine's President Vladimir Zelensky, according to two sources familiar with the call. A European government source also confirmed the contents of the call, so it is legitimized. One White House official noted that while Trump said he intended to meet with Putin as early as next week, it would likely be difficult to execute a meeting on that timeline, given the negotiation would have to be done as well as logistical hurdles. The Russians expressed their desire to meet with President Trump, and the president is open to meeting with both President Putin and Zelensky. President Trump wants this brutal war to end, the White House press secretary Caroline Leavitt said in a statement. The White House official said earlier on Wednesday that the secondary sanctions are still expected to be implemented on Friday. The Putin-Witkoff meeting, which Russian state media said lasted about 3 hours, took place after a frustrated Trump imposed a deadline on Moscow to agree to a ceasefire or face tough secondary sanctions hitting countries that buy Russian oil with a 100% tariff. Now, it is important to note that additional sanctions on Russia by America don't really mean a whole lot because Russia doesn't currently do much trade with America. So it's more of just like a title. It's kind of like how Trump was impeached. Like, oh, wow, he was impeached. What happened? Nothing. So sanctions against Russia by America mean absolutely pretty much nothing. But going after the people or the countries that do business, specifically get oil from Russia, now that right there is a pretty big balls move by American President Trump. Putin conveyed some signals to the United States on the Ukrainian issue. Corresponding signals were also received from President Trump, state media reported. The Kremlin said it would release more information on what was discussed after Witkoff reports back to Trump. Zelensky, who spoke to Trump following the Witkoff-Putin meeting earlier today, said it seems that Russia is now more inclined towards a ceasefire. The pressure on Russia is working, but the main thing is that they do not deceive us in the details. Neither us nor the United States, said Zelensky. Trump also spoke to Zelensky on Tuesday ahead of the Witkoff trip to discuss a potential U.S. sanctions against Russia. Again, just kind of flexing titles, much like what impeachment is, which turns out to be nothing really at all. But I'd love to know what you guys think about this. I personally think that Trump is probably going to do a massive big balls move and go to Moscow. I don't really have any evidence to back this up. Maybe it was mentioned. I don't really know how I came to this conclusion, but I think that'll be a massive display of military strength, having dozens, 10, not even 10, probably 20, 30, or even 40 fighter jets follow him in on the Doomsday plane and with the Air Force One plane and with submarines off the coast, like ready to go. And if anything were to ever happen to any of the leaders, I mean, it would just be the end of the world. Nukes would be flying and we would all die anyways, probably likely. So I think it's just more of displaying things, but having Trump go to Moscow to meet with Putin would be freaking earth shattering. Like that would just break the internet, break the news cycle, be one of the biggest accomplishments that American president has ever really done. And Trump is pretty good at setting those records, especially since he actually like stepped foot in North Korea with Kim Jong-un. So anyways, lots of stuff to look forward to. But for those that are interested in what happened between Trump and Tim Cook, the CEO of Apple, we're just going to take a brief highlight or take a brief look at the highlights from that meeting or that press conference earlier today.
Before we begin, I'd like to say a few words about the shooting at Fort Stewart in Georgia. As you know, 5 people were seriously wounded and 2 very, very seriously hurt around 11 o'clock this morning. The shooter is now in custody, and the Army Criminal Investigation Division is on site to ensure that the perpetrator of this atrocity, which is exactly what it is, will be prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law. The entire nation is praying for the victims and their families, and hopefully they'll fully recover, and we can put this chapter behind, but we're not going to forget what happened. We're going to take very good care of this person that did this, horrible person. This afternoon, we're pleased to welcome to the White House one of the great and most esteemed business leaders and geniuses and innovators anywhere in the world, Apple CEO Tim Cook. It's an amazing job. Thanks as well to Secretary of the Treasury Scott Bessent and Secretary of Commerce Howard Lutnick for being here, wherever you may be. Oh, there you are. Hello, fellas. I missed you. Today, Apple is announcing that it will invest $600 billion, that's with a B, in the United States over the next 4 years. That's $100 billion more than they were originally going to invest. And this is the largest investment Apple has ever made in America and anywhere else. And it's just an honor to have you. As you know, Apple's been an investor in other countries a little bit. I won't say which ones, but a couple.
China.
And
China.
they're coming home. $600 billion. That's the biggest there is. The company is also unveiling its ambitious new American manufacturing program, which will bring factories and assembly lines across our country all roaring to life. Areas that were not doing so well are doing very well. We have about $17 trillion coming into the United States, which is more than ever before. That's never even come close. There's never been anything like it. Even you, that's even a lot of money for you. But we have commitments of more than $17 trillion. That was as of a couple of weeks ago. These investments will directly create more than 20,000 brand new American jobs and many thousands more at the Apple suppliers like Corning, Broadcom, Texas Instruments, and Samsung, who all deal in that world. As part of this historic commitment, Apple will massively increase spending on its domestic supply chain for the iPhone and will build the largest and most sophisticated smart glass production line in the world in Harrodsburg, Kentucky, which is a great, actually, I did very well there. I like it because I see I did very well there. I did very well in Kentucky, but it's a great place. You're going to be very happy. I thought maybe while we're up, I'll interrupt my own speech by you might show them a little bit about the product that you're going to be doing in Kentucky, Tim.
Absolutely. Do you mind if I step up?
Yes, please.
This bond was made in the U.S., California.
So they're making the glass in Kentucky for iPhones, for Apple Watches, and things like that. And following those comments, when the microphone was given to the CEO of Apple, he proceeded to do what any smart CEO or person with any amount of power or significant amount of money would do in a position like that, which would be to kiss the ring, like quite literally. I don't necessarily view it as a bad thing. I view it as, hey, you're an American company operating in America, and America is going through a massive shift right now to be this superpower that can just, continue to be a superpower that can just outperform the rest of the world. And we need everybody on board. And Tim Cook proceeded to say, Trump is great. I like Trump. I love Trump. America's great. I love America. I love Americans. And it was one of the biggest plot twists that we've ever really seen. Not that Tim Cook, CEO of Apple, was ever like anti-American or anti-Trump, but he was very much pro-Trump and pro-America in that speech, which is something I'm begging for Canadian leaders to start doing that, because we would just prosper so much. I'm not saying we got to kiss America's ass or kiss the ring or whatever, but in order to get something from America, you have to be willing to give something to America. And that's what's going on with Apple. They're giving money to America to invest in. They're bringing their jobs from overseas, rightfully so, to America. That's great. Now it's Canada's turn. Come on, Carney. Come on, liberals. You could do it. Joint military bases, bring in American companies into Canada, like our phone plans, our internet. Get those companies here, creating jobs, put some money into the economy, make Trump happy. These are things that Trump has even said he would like to see, and it would only greatly benefit us. But I'm very much fixated on the joint military bases. As someone who is in the military, I think it'd be a phenomenal idea to just have American stuff on our bases, operating with us. They're not our enemies. They are our friends. And again, this whole anti-American stance that Canada is taking, what happens after Trump's term is up? And let's say he doesn't run again, which I know in the Constitution is technically impossible for him to do anyways. But let's just say Trump doesn't run again. And this is, 3.5 years from now, moving forward, is the last that we're going to see of Trump as president. What happens with Canada and American relations, whether it's a Republican who wins or Democrat wins? The fear of Trump, poof, just disappears. So are we still going to be anti-American or anti-Trump once we reach that point? Or are we going to be more willing to work with America and Americans at that point? Might as well just set down the groundwork now, build that foundation so it's there forever. But again, I'm just an idiot making videos in an RV. Next up, we're taking a look at some good news for a change. You have a Canadian. An Ottawa Valley teen strikes canoeing gold at World Championships. So that's kind of neat, I guess.
A 17-year-old girl from Almont is spearheading the future of the sport of canoeing for Canada. Isabel Lowry has just returned to the Ottawa Valley after claiming 3 gold medals at the Junior World Championships in Portugal. CTV's Dylan Dyson has details.
There's something in the water at the Carleton Place Canoe Club. Or rather, on the water. 17-year-old Isabel Lowry has just returned from the International Canoe Federation Junior World Sprint Championships with 3 gold medals.
I was really excited about what had happened, but I was like, I just want another one, So
And Canada's doing a phenomenal job in sports right now. You even have, I think it's Summer McIntosh, who competed in the Olympics not too long ago, who's winning in all of her recent swim championships. So it's pretty awesome to see Canada's not losing our sports. And they may be able to take our money through tariffs, but they can't take our championships. I don't know. I'm just trying to make fun of the situation. But good job, Canada. Good job, Canadians who are athletic. Now we're taking a look at the literal polar opposite of an athletic Canadian. Can you guess who it is? Ford warns that Trump could end Kusma with one signature. Something that I've been saying, but people only listen when it's a politician who says it. So let's listen to him say it.
Well, I think we're all on the same page, but everyone wants to protect their sector. Alberta wants to protect their oil sector. I want to protect the auto and the steel sector. Quebec wants to protect their aluminum sector. But if that's fine if everyone has their differences. But I'll tell you, like 98% of the stuff we all agree on that we have to get moving. So that's a good thing. But we got to move quicker, and folks, be ready. This is coming. I don't even think it's my personal opinion. He's not waiting till 2026. At any given time, President Trump, not that he even follows, the rules, he could pull the carpet out from underneath us on Kusma tomorrow with one signature. So let's be prepared. I think it'll be coming in November, in my opinion. But let's start getting ready, and we're doing it.
Unlike when I discuss things with my wife, I actually don't like this "I told you so" moment, right? I think that I've been pretty clear that Trump could do this. I've been saying that he would be doing this very likely. Like I'm 90-ish% sure that in 2026 at the joint review, Canada, Mexico, America, sitting down at a table going, all right, let's talk about Kusma. Trump's going to go, hey, it's a national security risk. And Carney's going to go, what? No, how does that make sense? We've been doing the things that you want us to, even though he's consistently talking shit about Trump and America. And Trump's going to say, it's a national security risk. We got to end Kusma. And Mexico's going to go, yeah, Carney, I told you so, you jackass. So that's kind of the position that we're in right now. So the 35% tariffs that are on Canada is things that are not protected by Kusma, which, yeah, it does hurt us, but it's not like a crazy big hit to our economy. But the reality is now sinking in for liberals, which, again, the fat pig with rabies is one of the biggest liberals in the country. He's now finally realizing, why is it that now, today, right, like August 6th, 7th, whatever the hell we are, August 6th, I think. Why is it today that he's now saying this, but I've been able to say this for weeks, if not months? I mean, I'm just an idiot making videos in an RV trying to say the absolute truth of the possibilities, no matter how popular or unpopular things are. And the politicians are just now starting to say it publicly. Like, what the hell kind of bizarro world are we living in? If that actually happens, we are absolutely screwed, but we're screwed regardless. So let's take a look at what the most recent screwing has been. Well, recently, Canada went and tried to meet with Mexico. Anita Anand and Finance Minister François-Philippe Champagne met with Mexican President Claudia and their ministerial counterparts in Mexico City to talk about economic growth, trade, and security. Because we are not happy with what's going on with America. So we're like, hey, let's just skip around America and go work with the pesos. The 2-day trip, as many Canadians wonder why the U.S. hit Canada on Friday with a 35% tariff on goods not compliant with the Kusma, while Mexico received a 90-day reprieve from threatened higher U.S. levies, the U.S. counts Mexico and Canada among its largest trading partners. U.S. President Trump said last week that the 90-day period would allow room to negotiate a new trade deal with Mexico, something that Canada is also currently trying to secure. But we haven't been able to secure because Canada is not willing to work with America. And neither is Mexico. That's right. Mexico's Sheinbaum says no need for bilateral trade deal with Canada. So we're getting rejected by America, and now we're getting rejected by Mexico. You want to know why? Because Trump called the Mexican president and said, you better not work with Canada behind my back. I'm assuming. Let's take a look.
Ambos estamos de acuerdo en que es indispensable que se respete el tratado comercial, el TEMEC, y compartimos pues algo.
So we both agree that USMCA, the Kusma, is important. And we shared our experiences.
Que recibimos
I'm just going to read it. About the letter we received from President Trump. They received a letter with 35% tariffs, and we received one with 30% tariffs. We discussed the strategies. That we are following. They also have a working group with U.S. government secretaries, just like we do. One of the things that I suggested to them is why don't we lay out in black and white the investments they already have planned in the United States? So that they can be a part of this working group that we have. So Mexico basically said, hey, you snow pesos, get out of here. Stop trying to pull us into your shitstorm of a rabbit hole you've created. Let's just lay out black and white what you're doing wrong and what we're doing right. And then we can objectively see where you guys went wrong. So they've turned down any trade deals, trade talks behind America's back. Canada is so fucking pathetic. We can't even go behind America's back and work with Mexico successfully. Good. I'm glad that that's the reality, because I would hate for Trump to get notice of this, for Mexico to flirt with the idea and say, you know what? Maybe we should do this with Canada. And then Papa Trump comes in and says, no, you will not. 150% tariffs. Learn your lesson. We're building a wall at your expense, or some shit like that. Like, I don't even know. But who thought this was a good idea? Who is giving this advice? Why is it that you and me can think more clearly than these overpaid, morbidly obese, and grotesque politicians' mentality are doing with our billions of dollars? They are fucking over our lives with a smile on their face. They're laughing about it, eating champagne and caviar. It's just crazy. It's absolutely it's infuriating. I'm so angry about this, and sad and confused and wondering, what the hell is the point of even, what does it mean to be patriotic in Canada right now? Like, you love Canada. Okay, I get it. I was born here, lived here my entire life. I like Canada. But that feeling that I had when I was in the military of like serving and protecting and like, I love Canada, I'm going to live and die for this land. Like, what are we wanting to die for to protect this? Like, what are we protecting that's so good about Canada? I get it. Family, friends, roots, a whole life here in this country. I'm not saying I want us to be like invaded, like Russian troops flying over above our heads. But what's so good about Canada right now that we just can't seem to like get our head out of our own ass? Your head is not up your ass if you're watching this video. My head is probably sometimes up my ass, my wife would say. But the liberals are just so stupid. They're so freaking stupid. And speaking of liberals, the fat cochon with rabies has this to say about spending more money in Ontario, specifically building a tunnel under the 401 highway in Toronto.
Just because it hasn't been done, it doesn't mean we can't do it.
Premier Doug Ford revealed new details on his plans for a tunnel under Canada's busiest highway, while at a separate announcement.
We're going to have a tunnel. It's going to be 19 and a half meters wide. Never been done in the world. We're going to have one level going east, underneath that, another level going west, and the bottom level with a train.
Earlier this week, we reported on Freedom of Information documents that revealed the Ford government looked into a tunnel as far back as 2019, shelving the idea in 2021 on government direction. Ford's latest comments on the plan come the same day Global News reported on internal documents it obtained, also mentioning that earlier study, the analysis finding a potential for roadway collapse and risks to public safety.
If they can tunnel under the English Channel, if they can tunnel through mountains and every other place, we sure the heck can tunnel along the 401. We'll do it safely and we'll do it properly, and we're going to do the largest tunnel in the world.
Taking to account
The largest tunnel in the world. You fucking moron, dude. I don't know, man. I've been to England, and I think it was the train out of the UK into Europe, and I'm pretty sure there was a tunnel that went under that water. I'm pretty sure. I don't remember how I got there, but if I'm not mistaken, there's a tunnel that goes under that freaking part of the ocean. Like the biggest tunnel in the world. Who are you to say that? Who are you? I probably should have done some research to refresh my brain on how the hell I left England. It's all blurry. There was a lot of alcohol involved. I don't really remember the trip. But the biggest tunnel in the world is a weird thing to say. Also, construction in Ontario never stops. stops. Like I lived in Toronto and I could go now. From when I moved there a long time ago, and some of the buildings are probably still under construction from when I lived there, however many freaking years ago. Shit just never gets done. You got 5 managers for every employee. I don't know who the hell Ford thinks that he is, but building what do you get, a 50-year time span to build a tunnel? You're going to run out of money, be voted out of office. We're all going to croak by the time the tunnel's done. Give me a freaking break. The biggest tunnel in the world. Oh, man.
Highway 401 above, it would mean 4 separate levels, multiple lanes with one direction of traffic directly underneath the highway. Then below that, vehicles going the opposite direction.
It's not, don't get me wrong. Look, it's not a bad idea. It's really not a bad idea. Because you know who the best person is to build tunnels? And you're going to get a kick out of this. And so will Doug Ford once he realizes and pieces the puzzle together. The best person to build tunnels is Elon Musk, because that's what he's done in LA. I'm sure, I think, in parts of California. He's the tunnel guy. And you know what's funny about that is Doug Ford just had a contract with Elon Musk's Starlink for $100 million for Ontario government departments to have Starlink. And he canceled it because Elon Musk bad, because Trump bad, and they're like friends or used to be friends or somewhat friends. So instead of paying Elon Musk for Starlink $100 million for a good contract, which again, you can't replace Starlink with anything. Like Starlink is the only thing that really exists to its capacity. Nothing even comes close to it. He paid a buyout fee, which is 10-20%. So he paid $10 or $20 million to Elon Musk to say, haha, I'm going to show you that I'm not going to pay you by paying you for a cancellation. So it's just funny because Elon Musk could probably get this done in like 6 months or a year or something like that. But of course, Elon Musk bad and America bad. We're going to do it the Canadian way. It'll just never happen. I'm laughing because if I wasn't laughing, I think I would probably cry at just how pathetic our country is turning into.
Plus, a lower level for transit.
Yes, it is technically doable. It would take a very long time, cost a lot of money, and it won't make congestion better.
She expects congestion would actually worsen, attributing that to evidence here and elsewhere, showing adding more lanes brings more traffic. The Green Party leader called on the premier to release that earlier study.
Well, I think it's just ridiculous that the premier wants to continue to waste time and money on this fantasy 401 tunnel when we clearly already have government studies.
All right, you're the Ontario Green Party. Literally nothing you say matters. Look, I think it's a great idea if it's done properly, which we know it will not be done properly because it's a liberal who's doing it. It's Doug Ford. I mean, it's just crazy. It's not the worst idea. It's just it's not the best idea, but it will be done in the worst possible way with the worst budget and the worst conditions, and it'll just never really get done. Canada is so archaic. We are living so far in the past, and we're just stuck huffing our own farts and fumes that we're too high off of our own supply to really get anything done properly. There are countries out there that have bullet trains. It's like a regular train that just fucking goes like a bullet, 400 or 500 kilometers an hour. You can travel the whole country in minutes. Yeah, I probably didn't do that math right, but you can travel the whole country super fucking fast with a bullet train. And even now we have one train track that sometimes works, sometimes doesn't. It's via rail, and they have to pull over when another train, CN rail, is coming by because, you know, there's only one track. There's no left lane, right lane. It's one literal track. So again, like, where is our high speed rail? Didn't the government say they were going to build one between Montreal and Toronto, like, or Ottawa or whatever the hell? Like, where's that stuff going? How are you going to build a high speed rail and then the tunnel kind of underneath it? Like, what the hell is going on with our country? I'm so pissed, not like furious or my blood's boiling. I'm just angry, and I feel like my heart has been shattered because I'm born here. I'm raised here. I've got kids in this country. You might even be able to hear them right now. They're right outside the door and they're freaking screaming because they're kids. I love this country. I love the people, but holy crap. We are going to lose everything because people have been so focused on voting in liberals. And what do liberals do? They spend money on nothing except lining their own pockets. We had 10 fucking years of that with Justin Trudeau. But yeah, Carney, sure, he's an outsider. He'll fix it all.